In the previous class, we studied about the electrostatic properties of the conductor, and also we derived an expression for the potential energy of an electric dipole when kept in an uniform electric field. In our today's class, we shall study about the polar and non-polar molecules and also about the effect of electric field on dielectric substances and the polarization of dielectrics. What are polar and non-polar molecules? Before going to polar and non-polar molecules, we shall know once again about the insulators. There is one more name given to this insulator. What does that means? Dielectric. What are dielectric substances? So the other name given to the insulator is dielectric. Dielectric substances are nothing but the insulating substances which do not contain any charge carriers like free electrons. There will be no free electrons for the conduction in the dielectric substance. We studied already that insulator do not contain free electrons, that is why it is not able to conduct any charges or any electricity through it. Similarly, dielectric substance are the substances which do not contain charge carriers. Charge carriers means free electrons. Hence they do not conduct. But still these dielectric substances are capable of transmitting the electric properties through them or electric effects through them, but transmits electric effects through them. So a substance which do not contain any charge carriers but transmit the electric effects through them are known as dielectric substances and nothing but insulator itself. There are some dielectrics made up of two types of molecule. One is polar molecule and the other one is non-polar molecule. Then what are polar molecule and non-polar molecules? Polar molecules are the molecules in which the center of positive and negative charges of the molecule are separated by a small distance. So consider this figure. Each of this molecule is nothing but polar molecule because negative and positive charges are slightly separated from each other. So such molecules where the positive charge center of the molecule and negative charge center of the molecule are slightly separated from each other without coinciding with each other are known as polar molecules. Okay. Then what about non-polar molecules? If the centers of positive and negative charges of the molecules, if they are not separated, not separated means they are found to be coinciding with each other. Such molecules are known as polar molecules. Look here, positive charge and negative charge are found to be coinciding. Of course, coinciding means I have to write like this. So what I have done means, in order to show that both are coinciding with each other, I written negative signs just below the positive sign. But here in this case, negative and positive are found to be bit well separated from each other. That is why this is termed as polar molecule. Here both positive and negative charge are found to be coinciding like this. Such molecules are known as non-polar molecules. So what about this? Nothing but non-polar molecule. Okay. So one simple difference. Polar, center of negative charge and positive charge of the whole molecule separated by a very small distance. Center of positive and negative charge, if they are coinciding, if they are not separated, they are found to be coinciding like this, then such molecules are known as non-polar molecules. Remember, non-polar molecules do not possess any dipole moment. Look here, dipole moment is equal to 0. And no electric field is applied to the non-polar molecule. So this is nothing but a dielectric slab consisting of too many non-polar molecules. I already told you that the dielectric substance may contain either polar molecule or non-polar molecule. Means dielectric substances may be made up of either polar molecules or non-polar molecules. Here is one such dielectric slab. Dielectric slab I have taken, consisting of polar molecule, non-polar molecule. Here this is the dielectric slab consisting of polar molecules. We shall know about the difference between these two a bit later. Now first know the definition of the polar and non-polar. I can give the examples for the polar molecules and as well as for non-polar molecules. See, this diagram indicates the polar molecules. Example, H2O, HCl I have taken. In addition to H2O, HCl, I can also consider example like NH3, SO2, etc., etc. All these are the examples for the polar molecules, NH3, SO2, H2O and HCl. These are the respective diagrams of H2O molecule and HCl molecule. What about this? These are the examples for the non-polar molecules. Non-polar molecules. Examples for polar molecules. Okay. So, non-polar molecules. In addition to oxygen and carbon dioxide, I can also consider nitrogen, hydrogen. So, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So, all these are the examples for non-polar and these are the examples for polar molecules. Okay. Now, look here. This is the polar molecule of H2O. Oxygen considered to be negative ion. So, the two atoms of hydrogen, each atom of the hydrogen here considered to be as positive ion. Now, hydrogen are considered as the positive and oxygen is considered as negative. What is the common center for these positive charges? That means positive hydrogen ion and positive hydrogen ion. Common center is this, exactly in between. And this is nothing but the center of the negative charge of this oxygen. So, this acts like the center of negative charge. This point acts like the center of positive charge. Okay. Now, you join these two. That means negative charge center and the average center of the positive charge. Why should I consider average? Average means exactly in between. If this distance is of 10 angstrom, then this should be exactly at 5 angstrom. Okay. So, average center of positive charge and this is the center of negative charge. So, it is found that negative charge and positive charge are bits separated by small distance like this. Overall, I can write like this. This is minus q and this is plus q. So, the two charges are separated. Okay. So, this is how we can write the diagram of the H2O polar molecule where the centers are separated. Coming to this HCl, okay, HCl, hydrogen is considered as positive and chlorine is considered as negative in this molecule. So, this HCl molecule consists of hydrogen atom and as well as chlorine. That means it has two elements, hydrogen and as well as chlorine. So, this is positive and this is negative. Now, join the center of negative charge of this chlorine and center of positive charges of this hydrogen. They are found to be bits separated by small distance. Once again, this is nothing but polar molecule. I have written P downwards. Okay. So, I am supposed to write arrow upwards like this. What does this arrow represent? This arrow represents now the direction of dipole moment which is from negative charge to positive charge like this. Here I write arrow like this. The arrow represents the direction of dipole moment from the center of negative charge to positive charge like this. This is the direction of dipole moment P. Okay. Then you consider the diagrams of the non-polar molecules like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Here what is happening? The center of positive charge of the oxygen, in this oxygen molecule 2 atoms of oxygens are there. Okay. Now, I consider this point as the center of the positive charges of the oxygen and this as the center of, or else I think it is better to consider hydrogen, more comfortable, H. Okay. So, this is the center of positive charge of this hydrogen and this is the center of the positive charge of this hydrogen. What does these two indicates? Electrons, negative charges. This is the electron of, let us say, this hydrogen atom and this is the electron of, say, this hydrogen atom. Now, what is center of, average center of these negative charges? Let us join them. This is the average center of the negative charges of these two hydrogen atoms. What the average center of the positive charges of these two hydrogen atoms? We have joined a line between plus and plus. This is the common center. So, this acts as common center for the positive charges of hydrogen and also the negative charges of the hydrogen. It means that the positive charge center and negative charges center are not separated. Both are found to be coinciding. That is why it is considered as the non-polar molecule. Consider this. Oxygen, CO2. So, oxygen is there. This is negative, negative. Carbon, let us consider this as positive. Okay, in this carbon dioxide molecule, consider the centers of the negative charges of the oxygen. Where is the common center? Join these two. Okay, so this will be the common center. And this is also the center of the positive charge of this carbon. So, here once again what is happening? So, the positive charge center of the carbon is this and the negative charge center, average negative charge center is also this. Once again here the center of positive charge and the center of these two negative charges are found to be overlapping, means coinciding. So, this is nothing but the coinciding point. It clearly indicates that the centers are not separated. Center of positive charges and negative charges are not separated. So, they are found to be coinciding. If I consider a dielectric slab consisting of non-polar molecules. These are all non-polar molecules, and this is nothing but dielectric slab containing non-polar molecules. When no external electric field is applied, what's the dipole moment? Net dipole moment of all these molecules, non-polar molecules, it is equal to 0. So electric field is not applied, means I have not kept this in electric field. Therefore, none of the non-polar molecule possess the dipole moment. For a molecule to possess dipole moment, what is important means the positive and negative charges of that molecule should get separated like this. Now this acts as an electric dipole. If this acts as electric dipole, then it possesses a dipole moment whose direction is from negative charge to positive charge. But all the positive charges and negative charges of the molecules are found to be coinciding. That is why it is not a dipole. When it is not a dipole, no dipole moment, hence the net dipole moment is 0. Suppose if I keep the same dielectric in an electric field, how do I apply the electric field, or how do I create the electric field? I consider two metallic plates. Look at, this is plate 1 and this is plate 2. Okay. So this line indicates plate 1 and this line indicates plate 2. One plate is charged positively, another plate is charged negatively. When we charge the two plates oppositely and equally, now the direction of electric field is from positively charged plate to negatively charged plate, means it will be like this. Okay. As soon as we apply the electric field, that means to this polar molecule, which are like this, I am applying the electric field, uniform electric field. Remember, between two oppositely charged plates, whatever electric field that exists from positively charged plate to negatively charged plate, that electric field is always uniform, which can be represented by means of parallel lines of force. When we apply the electric field, then what happens means the positive charge and negative charge of this molecule experiences force. As a result of this, the positive charge tends to move in the direction of electric field, negative charge tends to move opposite to the electric field. Hence, the non-polar molecule now gets converted into polar molecule like this, with the negative charge opposite to the electric field, positive charge moving in the direction of electric field. So only after applying electric field, each of this polar molecule, non-polar molecule, can be converted into polar molecule. Now this possesses a dipole moment. So in this case, P is not equal to 0 after applying the electric field. So that is what we have written here. Each one of the non-polar molecule got converted into, look here, this got converted into polar. So this molecule got converted into polar molecule, this polar molecule, and so on. Okay. Now, what is the net dipole moment now? Net dipole moment is not equal to 0 because electric field is there. We have applied the electric field, which is not equal to 0. So net dipole moment is equal to sum of the dipole moment of all the molecules. If P1 is the dipole moment of this molecule, and if P2 is the dipole moment of this molecule, and if P3 is the dipole moment of this molecule, like this, if there are n molecules, then what is the net dipole moment? Net dipole moment is given by P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus dash 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 plus Pn, where Pn is the dipole moment of nth molecule. So that is why we say that P net is not equal to 0. These polar molecules when no electric field is applied to it, the net dipole moment is found to be equal to 0. Why the net dipole moment is equal to 0? Already this dielectric slab is a slab made up of polar molecules, because these polar molecules are arranged randomly. When these polar molecules are arranged randomly due to the thermal agitation, that means due to the temperature of the slab, the net dipole moment is equal to 0, because the dipole moment of one molecule cancels the dipole moment of other molecule. That means if the dipole moment of this molecule is in this direction, then the dipole moment of some other molecule will be in the opposite direction. Say for example, if I consider this, the dipole moment of this molecule will be in the opposite direction. So the dipole moment of this molecule get cancelled. Okay. Similarly, if the dipole moment of one molecule is in this direction, then the dipole moment of some other molecule will be in the opposite direction. Once again, the dipole moment of this molecule and this molecule get cancelled. So likewise, the net dipole moment of all the polar molecules turns out to be equal to 0 in the absence of electric field, because of the random arrangement or irregular arrangement in the dielectric slab. But when such dielectric, when kept once again in the region of electric field that exists between the plates, uniform electric field is there. So in the uniform electric field region, if I keep this dielectric, then what happens means all these polar molecules which are randomly arranged when no electric field is applied to it, now get arranged uniformly in the direction of electric field. As soon as we apply the field, each one of the polar molecule arrange themselves in the direction of the electric field. How do they arrange themselves? Just because of applying electric field. Look here, if one molecule is like this, minus plus, after applying the uniform electric field, now what happens? A torque acts on this. As a result of the torque, now what happens means this dipole slowly rotates like this and aligns, rotates like this and aligns like this in the direction of electric field. Similarly, if there is another dipole which is like arranged like this, say for example, if it is like this, plus minus, after applying the electric field, once again torque acts on this. As a result of the torque, the dipole slowly rotates because of electric field like this, and once again it aligns in the direction of electric field. So this is how each of the molecule turns like this, also turns like this. This which is initially vertical turns like this, which is inclined also turns like this. They all get arranged uniformly. Now the net dipole moment is not equal to 0. Each dipole possesses its own dipole moment. If I add the dipole moment of all the molecules, say for example P1, P2, P3 like this, it is not found to be equal to 0. So this is one difference we can notice between the non-polar molecules and polar molecules. So overall, what is that we can understand here? If you keep a non-polar dielectric in an uniform electric field, that means this is non-polar dielectric kept in an uniform electric field. What happens? It gets converted into polar molecule and aligns in the direction of electric field. Similarly, if I keep a polar molecule in an electric field, this polar molecule initially arranged in random direction. As soon as I apply the electric field, just as I did here, to the non-polar molecule, If I apply the electric field to this polar molecule, due to the torque acting on it, once again it aligns in the direction of electric field. So whether you keep a dielectric of non-polar molecule or polar molecule in the electric field region, in both the cases, the molecules align themselves in the direction of electric field. Now, from this, we can say that there is a polarization of dielectric. What is meant by polarization? Alignment of all these or arrangement of all these polar molecules in the direction of electric field with the positive charge towards right side, negative charge towards left side. If all molecules, that means if all the dipoles of the dielectric aligns in the direction of electric field, then this arrangement is nothing but the polarization of dielectric. So let us write that. So what is meant by polarization of dielectric means, if, what's the actual meaning of polarized or polarization? One-sidedness property. Okay, look here, one-sidedness means all positive charges of the dipoles are towards right side itself. In this dipole, in this dipole, in this dipole, no change at all. In each and every molecule, all positive charges are towards right side, that is one side. And all negative charges of the dipole are towards left side, that means other side. So this one-sidedness property itself is known as polarization. So it is possible by applying the electric field to a dielectric containing both polar and non-polar molecules. Look here, the degree of polarization or the amount of polarization. Amount of polarization means how many molecules can align in the direction of electric field. If large number of molecules aligns in the direction of electric field, then we say that amount of polarization is large. Suppose if there are 1000 molecules in this dielectric, out of 1000 molecule, if only 750 molecules aligns in the direction of electric field, then the polarization is not complete, it is partial. Amount of polarization is not 100%. If all 1000 molecules, instead of 750, if all 1000 molecules aligns in the direction of electric field, then the amount of polarization is large, that means it is maximum. So for maximum polarization, the strength of the electric field must be large. So this is one factor which affects the amount of polarization. So field makes the dipole to arrange along its direction, whereas the temperature tends to destroy the alignment. That is why for the amount of polarization to be large, field strength should be large, whereas the temperature should be low. If temperature is low, then the alignment do not get disturbed too much. So these are the two important factors to be remembered for the maximum polarization. One is electric field strength should be large. The second one is temperature of dielectric should be small. Okay. Now, net charge of any electric dipole is found to be equal to 0, but net dipole moment of any electric dipole is not equal to 0. Why the net charge is equal to 0? Both these charges are of equal magnitude, therefore they cancel each other. Similarly, the total charge of this dipole once again get cancelled. But the dipole moment of each and every dipole is not going to cancel. Why? The direction of dipole moment is along the direction of electric field. Okay, that is why the dipole moment is not going to cancel out, though the net charge of each dipole cancel each other and becomes equal to 0. Suppose if I consider inside this dielectric one volume element, that means if I consider anywhere volumes, small volume of this dielectric, say for example I consider this small volume. Look at positive charge is sitting very close to negative charge, therefore it may get cancelled. Similarly, if I consider now this volume, observe here, this positive charge now get cancelled with negative charge, this positive charge get cancelled with negative charge. It happens elsewhere inside the dielectric if you consider any volume of the dielectric. So as a result of this, what happens? All positive charge get cancelled with its neighboring negative charge. This get cancelled, this get cancelled, these two get cancelled, these two get cancelled. Similarly, this positive get cancelled with negative, this negative get cancelled with positive, positive get cancelled with negative. If this happens, then finally what is left here means, look here, towards the left side of the dielectric only negative charges are left, whereas towards the right side of the dielectric only positive charges are left. A layer of negative charges like this and a layer of positive charges like this are left at the edges of the dielectric opposite to each other. So this is completely a layer of negative charge, this is completely a layer of positive charge. Okay, now these layer of negative and positive charge are known as induced charge or polarized charges. So these are all called as induced charges or polarized charges. Okay, these polarized charges will set up their own electric field inside the dielectric whose direction is from positive to negative. See, the external field E, I can call this as EA, applied field, external field, is due to the charged plates, positively charged plate and negatively charged plate. Inside the dielectric, one more field is set up because of polarized charges. I call that electric field as EP, E for electric field, P for polarized charges. Now what happens? EA and EP are opposite to each other. Therefore now, what is the net electric field inside the dielectric? It is EA minus EP. In this case, EA cannot become equal to EP. So what is that we can say from this? We can say that the net field inside the dielectric is going to reduce. It becomes less when an external field is applied to the dielectric or when a dielectric is kept in an external field. So net electric field inside the dielectric reduces according to this equation. So based on this now we can define two things. What is meant by dielectric breakdown? Okay. See, it is the phenomenon in which a dielectric loses its insulating property when kept in a strong electric field. Okay. So, if an insulator loses its insulating property when kept in an strong electric field, then we call that as dielectric breakdown. Okay. So, let us now know what exactly it is. Suppose if there is a dielectric material, dielectric slab like this, consisting of either polar molecules or non-polar molecules. I write now polar molecules for example. If I apply electric field here from this side, now suppose if I supply or if I apply 300 volt per meter of electric field, then the positive and negative charge may get separated like this. Okay. Suppose if I apply now 350, still it remains as it is. Let us assume all these are random values, not the experimental value or the calculated values. For the purpose of understanding in a simplest manner without any doubts, just I try to give some numerical values, that's all. So still it remains as it is, or it must slightly get separated, further separation may be there like this. So distance of separation may become bit large. Okay. Suppose if I apply now an electric field strength of 351, E equal to 350 volt per meter, separation got increased, that's all. For E equal to 351 volt per meter, now the negative charge from this dipole may come out or it may get separated. All negative charge may get separated. As a result of this, the negative and as well as the positive charges of the dipole gets separated. When they get separated, now this dielectric contains now free charges like this, positive and negative. So when it is found to contain free charges like positive and negative charges, then now it tends to act like a conductor. So the insulating substance now got converted into conducting substance. Now this dielectric starts allowing the electric charges, or it allows the current to flow through it. It's possible only when we apply a strong electric field. Strong electric field in terms of a kilo, that means 350, 351, I quoted some random value like this. Now, this is the definition of the dielectric breakdown, and this is the explanation to this. When strong field is applied, force acting on these charges of the dipole becomes large. Due to that force, the charges get separated from one another, and now the insulating dielectric starts behaving like a conducting substance. That phenomenon is known as dielectric breakdown. And the maximum strength in which the dielectric can withstand without losing its insulating property, up to 350 volt per meter, it remained as insulator. Okay. It is only at 351 volt per meter, it became a conductor. So this maximum electric field in which the insulator can withstand without losing its insulating property, that means the dielectric remains as insulator itself without losing its insulating property. That maximum electric field strength is known as dielectric strength. So what is meant by dielectric strength? Means maximum electric field electric field up to which a dielectric can withstand its insulating property is called as dielectric strength. Insulating property means should not become conductor, should remain as insulator itself. Okay, this is the definition of dielectric strength. For example, if I consider air, its dielectric strength is found to be equal to E equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 6 volt per meter. This is for air. So the dielectric strength for paper is found to be equal to around 16 into 10 to the power of 6 volt per meter. Okay. So these are the different dielectric strength. Similarly, the dielectric strength of water is found to be equal to around 30 into 10 to the power of 6 volt per meter. That means air can remain as insulator up to this electric field. To the air, if the applied electric field exceeds this, instead of 3 into 10 to the power of 6, if it is 4 into 10 to the power of 6, air, which is supposed to be a good insulator, now starts behaving like a conductor. That means the neutral air molecule gets ionized like this because of the electric field strength. But that field strength should exceed this value. Similarly, paper is a good insulator. No current can be passed through a paper just as we pass the current through metallic electric wire. So, but paper can remain as insulator up to this electric field. It is able to bear this amount of field. If we try to apply an electric field to a paper sheet beyond this value, that means if I keep one paper sheet like this is a paper sheet in an electric field of strength, how much? More than this, say for example 17 into 10 to the power of 6. Now this paper sheet starts allowing the charges to flow. This is electric field. But this electric field will make the paper to behave like a conductor just as the metallic wire behaves. So, the dielectric strength varies from substance to substance. Understand? Now, remember these two definitions as applied to the dielectrics. Okay, thank you.